Protests are underway at colleges across the country over the Israel-Hamas war, and one of the biggest is at Columbia University in New York, where several people have been arrested. Pro-Palestinian protesters are demanding that that university's board of trustees cut all funding ties with weapons manufacturers that supply Israel. Dozens of pro-Israel demonstrators have also gathered following testimony from the university's president, Manoush Shafik, before a House committee over the school's handling of anti-Semitism.
Trying to reconcile the free speech rights of those who wanted to protest and the rights of Jewish students to be in an environment free of discrimination and harassment has been the central challenge on our campus and numerous others across the country. Regrettably, the events of October 7th brought to the fore an undercurrent of anti-Semitism that is a major challenge.
Well, for more on this, ABC's Morgan Norwood is at Columbia University with the latest. So, Morgan, Columbia is experiencing both pro-Palestinian and pro-Israel protests, and I guess anti in both directions, too, for some of those protesters. What's the latest there?
Yeah, Terry, we're seeing protests and demonstrations on both sides of this issue. As you can see right behind me, there's this garbage truck blocking the view here, but we have roughly a dozen demonstrators here, most of them pro-Palestinian, that have gathered outside the gates of Columbia. But what you can see clearly is the barricades, but then also the NYPD officers that have gathered as well, kind of fencing and trying to contain the situation here. You know, we've heard them chant. You hear them banging the pots as well, but occasionally we will see a U-Haul demanding that University President Shafik step down. And again, as you pointed out, these demonstrations come as she just testified before lawmakers, you know, about the timbre here on campus, the tone here on campus. Many students had accused the university and her of allowing what they described as a hotbed of anti-Semitism on campus. But I will tell you, Terry, as these demonstrations continue, time is running out for students and time is running out for these demonstrations, because we obtained a copy of a letter that was sent out yesterday by the university to all students demanding that they disperse. Now, we've got two different situations in terms of demonstrations on campus. You have what's going on right outside of the gates, but then inside of the gates, we know that there are tents sprawled out across the university's south lawn, and that's what the university has been trying to disperse as well. So within the past 15 minutes, actually learned that Representative Omar Ilhan's daughter was among the students suspended for protesting. She posted that on her personal social media platform X. Now, we've also reached out to the university to confirm. They would not confirm or deny that piece of information. Rather, that they're saying that they're working to identify all of the students involved in what they described as a disruption to learning. On the criminal side, we have seen a number of arrests, 5 so far. That does include a juvenile for disorderly conduct. That's according to an officer who told us that right here on the scene. The possibility of more if tensions or things escalate throughout the afternoon. But Terry, what we've seen here on Columbia is just a glimpse into the tense conversations that are happening all across the country as this Israel-Hamas war continues. Terry?
Yeah, absolutely. And let me pick up on that, because you know, we have seen this issue and the challenges in addressing it across college campuses, and naturally so, given the horror and viciousness of the October 7th attack and the suffering, the plight of the people of Gaza. You know, how are colleges balancing this? I guess in some instances it's working, and in some instances, you know, they've had real trouble.
Yeah, you know, it's a really tough balance, right? Because, you know, you want to give students the opportunity to voice their concerns. There's passion behind many of these demonstrations, but then there's also concerns that this could lead to bullying and harassment. And so that's the tough position that many universities are facing right now. And then obviously if the protests get out of hand, thankfully we haven't necessarily seen that here at Columbia, but that's the tough question that, you know, many universities are faced with and tasked with, protecting the students, but then also protecting their rights to what many students say is free speech, being able to speak up about these situations and the current events, current international events. Terry?
Absolutely. Morgan Norwood at Columbia University. There's such an interesting and important story. Thanks very much.